Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to BSV TV. I'm your host Satoshi, and on this show we'll be defending the one and only, truly genuine Bitcoin. The Bitcoin that Satoshi Nakamoto designed in his white paper as a peer-to-peer electronic cash system for the world. Let's get the disclaimers out of the way. So all the statements that you hear on this show are opinion and must only ever be taken as opinion. They are never to be taken as any form of advice, family, financial, sexual or otherwise. And on that note, let's sit back, relax, have some fun and enjoy the show. Get paid for your content in Bitcoin and set your own fee on Streamanity.
Yeah, I'm not surprised I wasn't asked why I'm convinced Craig is Satoshi. I posted on Reddit. He signed in my presence using the private key from block number one, the very first mined Bitcoin block, on a computer that I'm convinced had not been tampered with, on software I'm convinced that had not been tampered with, a message of my choosing.
At Enchain, we've just funded a number of universities doing, so far, a test up to 1 gigabyte because it validates what we've already done independently. We've tested up to 380 gigabyte blocks. We've tested 1 million transactions a second and transaction sizes up to 20 megabytes. Super complex scripts, basically ones that can run operating systems. That's basically all of global commerce times about 50. On top of that, we can have complex scripts. On top of that, we can scale each of those transactions 1,000 times, which effectively means about 1 billion transactions per second, which means we can then have all derivatives, all complex trades. That means high frequency trading. It means everything that happens globally.
Is the market that effectively BSV is going for, is that global e-commerce, which is currently valued at $29 trillion?
No, that's too small.
Buy and sell Bitcoin instantly at bsvgravity.com. And you can now book and pay for your winter holiday at skibsv.com. Howdy people, it looks like we are live at 5, rocking and rolling. Yes, I love it when a plan comes together. Hope we're all doing well. Never a dull moment in crypto, as I say on every single show. Might make that tagline one of my own. But before we get started, for any newbies who are watching the show for the first time, the reason we broadcast live on Twitch is because I've had 2 of my YouTube channels taken down. Then YouTube were preventing me from editing my shows. Then they were deleting episodes. And I was just like, you know what? This is absolutely ridiculous. I only get like maybe 50 views at a time. They don't mind all these other shitcoiners shilling their shitcoins. But when it comes to the genuine Bitcoin, suddenly it's not acceptable. But I'm honored at the fact that they went to all this effort for my show, even though with 50 viewers, because that proves to me that it's the content that they are concerned about. And again, when I say they, all I'm talking about is those people who've got access to the money printers that can basically print their own salaries and basically cause all this shit that's been going on around the world. Because wherever there is shit going on, there's money to be made because they have an excuse to print it. That is it. So when I say money made, I mean literally made. As in like printed on paper. There's some more shit over there. Oh, need to print some more paper for that. There's some more shit over here. Oh, well, we'll need to print some more money for that. Oh, some more shit over there now. Oh, well, there's no shit anymore. Let's go and make some shit up. That's what they need. Fiat currencies are absolutely destructive, and this is something that Bitcoin fixes. So those who are in control of the current fiat monetary system, who can print whatever they want, have basically got access to all the other people that have got access to these technologies that are basically trying to take my show down. So I'm just going to keep doing my best to keep plodding on. Yes, indeed. So let's crack on with the show. Here we go. So for anybody who is maybe not familiar with my show, this is how I always start it off. So Bitcoin was created as the first commodity money because before there was Bitcoin, there was fiat currency, and fiat currency had always intended and started out to be a token on gold. Now, obviously, being a token on gold, you cannot inflate gold. I mean, you can mine more gold, but it gets more and more difficult over time because the gold that's on the surface gets taken up and then it takes more energy to mine it below. So therefore, the value of it increases over time as the difficulty increases in terms of getting it. But gold is divisible, so it's far more easier to divide it than it is to mine it. So therefore, it becomes more valuable as more and more people come into trade with it. And this is why in 1933, the US government made it a law that every US citizen must return their gold to the Federal Reserve, because they knew that they were going to start inflating the dollar like there was no tomorrow, and that the demand for gold would increase as the price increased, and it would completely undermine their fiat currency. So for anybody who isn't familiar with what I'm talking about there, let's just find it. Here we go. We'll go 1933. Federal gold notice. Federal gold notice. See what this brings up. Oh, yep, I think we're going to get it. The executive order. That's what we need. This is the one. So for anybody who isn't familiar with this, this is actually what it says. Under executive order of the President, issued April 5th, 1933, all persons are required to deliver on or before May 1st, 1933, all gold coin, gold bullion, and gold certificates now owned by them to the Federal Reserve Bank, branch or agency, or to any member of the Federal Reserve Federal Reserve System. And then down the bottom bit, it just says here, oh, I wonder if we can enlarge this. Oh, can we enlarge it? Oh, we can. Oh no, there we go. Gold certificates may be identified by the words gold certificate appearing thereon. The serial number and the treasury seal on the face of a gold certificate are printed in yellow. Be careful not to confuse gold certificates with other issues which are redeemable in gold but which are not gold certificates. Federal Reserve notes and United States notes are redeemable in gold but are not gold certificates and are not required to be surrendered. Special attention is directed to the exceptions allowed under Section 2 of the Executive Order. Criminal penalties. So this is a criminal. I mean, how can something like this be criminal? Like, honestly. So it says, like, yeah, all persons are required to deliver. Yeah. So if you don't deliver gold, how can that be a criminal offence? Again, I mean, this is absolutely insane when you think about it. They would never get away with this sort of thing now. Never. Just like they'd never get away with just simply invading Vietnam because they're a bunch of commies. You know, just like they would never get away with trying to convince people that John F. Kennedy had a bullet that a U-turn in his brain. Just like they would never get away with editing the Zapruder film like they have done. Just like they'd never get away with bringing down World Trade Center 7. And it says here, so yeah, criminal penalties for the violation of executive order. $10,000 fine, and this is in 1933. Or 10 years imprisonment, or both, as provided in Section 9 of the order. Now that's gold. Because as we know, the dollar was initially backed by gold. In fact, the dollar was backed by gold right up until the Nixon shock of 1971. So let's say we'll just take on that was 50 years from let's say, like, you know, 1930 to 1970. 30, 40, 50, 60, 40 years actually. So for 40 years, the effectively fiat currency was backed by gold. And they always say that, you know, fiat currencies generally, you know, sort of like only last maybe, you know, like, well, I think the average, like, back over history has been like maybe like, you know, 30 years. Fiat currencies have a history of literally going back to zero. As a French philosopher once wrote, let's see if we can find this. See if I can find it. French philosopher. Money zero. Let's have a look. Go to images. Oh, Voltaire. That's what we need. Voltaire. This is the one we're after. Let's bring this up. So as Voltaire said here, paper money eventually returns to its intrinsic value, 0. That was Voltaire. Again, I'm not too sure when that was. In fact, let's find out. Voltaire money quote. Also, it was a French philosopher, Voltaire. Voltaire, French writer. So when was he around? So died 30th of May, so 1778. Wow, yeah. So long time ago, really. So he was born in 1694, and we know that the tulip bubble was started 1634 to 1637, and Voltaire made that quote during his lifetime. So he died in 1778. So everybody knows fiat currencies just simply fail. That's what they do. So the US government were just like, all right, now we're going to enter this new era of the US dollar money, and in order to try and make this survive for as long as we can, we need to confiscate all the gold, and we're going to make it a criminal offense if they don't. So that was gold, and I think it was initially Isaac Newton who came up with the idea of backing money with gold. But again, it was just an idea. But that's what so many of us have got used to. In fact, let's see if I can find a quote on that. Hold on, because Isaac Newton, gold money. Let's have a look at this. See what this says. He brought order out of chaos. The master of the mint died after 3 years, and Newton got his job as the ruler of Britain's reserve currency. He instituted the shift to a gold standard. The shilling, pound, and pence were refined so that 21 shillings and sixpence would stay equivalent to a gold guinea. Wow. Again, learning something new every day on the spot. Here we go. Alright, well, let's go back to that link there. Here we go. So this is Newton and the Mint, the University of Houston. Let's have a little looky. Right. You know what? I'm going to have a read of this. So Newton in the Mint by John H. Leonard. Click here for audio episode 2380. Okay. Today, Isaac Newton coins money. The University of Houston's College of Engineering presents this series about the mechanisms, it should be mechanisms maybe, that make our civilization run and the people whose ingenuity created them. Newton is a trouble to my mind. I've just finished another biography, Peter Ackroyd's delightful little book titled Newton. Ackroyd treats Newton's excesses with disorientating objective respects. Yes, he was petty, vindictive, unforgiving of criticism, obsessive, and shrugged to the snapping point. But genius is meaningless without focus, and Newton's focus was legendary. I mean, again, when I'm reading that sounds like somebody with Asperger's. From my experience. By the age of 51, he had written the laws of motion, explained orbital mechanics, diagnosed light and colour, and co-inverted the calculus. On the side, he also worked tirelessly in alchemy. Ackroyd suggested that it took his alchemist mind to formulate gravity as a force without substance and beyond explanation. Then Newton underwent an 18-month mental breakdown marked by rages, sleeplessness, ranting letters. He recovered from the worst of it, but he'd suffered a major burnout. His scientific drive had gone stale. Then the Crown began consulting him on economics and currency. British coinage was, it seems, in shambles. Counterfeiting and coin shaving had been blatant for a long time. The silver content of the coins was badly regulated. The situation was a mess, and Newton was among those calling for a recall of old coin and for minting of a completely new coinage. In 1696, Newton was offered the post of Warden of the Mint. It was supposed to be a cushy sinecure, but it took him away from the Buccleuch, Cambridge, and hurled him into the teeming social world of London. No one, certainly not the lazy master of the mint, realised that no post would be a sinecure with Newton occupying it. Newton tore into the job. He recognised the mint, bought new equipment, and used his alchemical knowledge of metallurgy. He brought order out of chaos. The master of the mint died after 3 years, and Newton got his job. As the ruler of Britain's reserve currency, he instituted the shift to a gold standard. The shilling, pound and pence were redefined so that 21 shillings and sixpence would stay equivalent to 1 gold guinea. Newton also became a detective hunting down counterfeiters. He enforced the neglected death by hanging and drawing and quartering penalty. He could be found in taverns and the halls of Newtgate prison searching for leads. The flip side of this life was that Newton changed from an isolated academic wrapped in a brown study to a wealthy London social figure. He reinvented himself as well as England's monetary system. Yet, up to his death at 84, he never stopped trying to crush all opposition. I said that I'm troubled by Newton, so effective in all he set out to do. It's easy to assume that his effectiveness sprang from his ruthlessness. It did not. Newton also brought intense focus to bear on everything he did. We need to remember that focus, not ruthlessness, was the alchemy of his astonishing abilities, as it can be the alchemy of ours as well. I'm John Leonard at the University of Houston, where we're interested in the way in inventive minds work. Well, you know, I have to say that sounds almost exactly like CSW. Like literally, like that's almost like CSW to a T. Like CSW was almost like Isaac Newton reincarnated. I mean, that's really quite fascinating. You know, all this stuff about, never stopping and what was it he said? Not taking criticism lightly. Always finding ways to do things better, like endless energy. I mean, it's just absolutely hilarious. That is fascinating. That's fascinating. Yeah. Wow. I honestly think CSW is Isaac Newton reincarnated, and he's created new money. So Isaac Newton was just like, right, now we're going to have money backed by gold, whereas CSW said, right, now we're going to have money backed by the value of data sovereignty. I mean, it's just absolute genius. It is absolute genius. Oh my goodness me. Right, so yeah, Satoshi Nakamoto, CSW, created Bitcoin, but that is basically commoditized data sovereignty in the form of Bitcoin. And then all that happened is that just like most currencies, they can be debased, because if money has a central point of authority or control, it's worthless. And so basically you have to have a system that allows it to be tampered with, because if you can't tamper with it, then it means that it's controlled. So this is what a group of developers who were funded to the tune of $100 million by institutions with suspiciously close links to the Federal Reserve did. Now, if you want to attack Bitcoin, anybody who's going to try and control it is going to attack the signatures, because it is the signatures that hold everybody on the network to account. So if you want to centrally control Bitcoin, you basically have to take away the signatures. And this is what a company called Blockstream did when they implemented SegWit on the 24th of August 2017. SegWit was a fancy term for segregating the signatures. like segregated witness. You know, this is why Satoshi designed Bitcoin as a chain of signatures, for it to be neutral money. And again, Roger Ver and his crony mates again attack the signatures by introducing schnorr signatures and all these other things that like make it illegal. So the signatures are absolutely fundamental. There is a pattern emerging here of people trying to control Bitcoin by tampering with the signatures. Either removing them, segregating them, changing them, like doing whatever. So again, for folks who are regular listeners to my show, I'm now going to play a video that proves to anybody new who's watching this that Blockstream do actually fundamentally control Coolcoin, which is BTC, as of the 24th of August 2017. So have a listen to what Samson Mao said, who is the Chief Strategy Officer of Blockstream, when he was interviewed by Simon Dictwit and Max Kaiser. Here we go.
Bitcoin was created by the central bankers that enslave you today. It is their scapegoat.
How do you answer those, Max and Stacey?
I think the evidence is clear that they do not control it. There's 10 years, almost 11 years now of track record.
Yeah, Blockstream controls it.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Who does?
Blockstream.
Oh,
all right.
I was looking at you when I said that.
Yeah, I'm a block. I have a spy. I'm one of the spies. No, so this, it's an interesting. Now that there's.
Yeah, it's an interesting. Now that there's. Let's just have a listen to that one more time.
Yeah, Blockstream controls it.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Who does?
Who does?
Blockstream.
Oh, and there you have it. Who does? Blockstream. One more time.
Of track record.
Yeah, Blockstream controls it.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Who does?
I'm sorry, go ahead. Who does? What? What the hell are you talking about?
Blockstream.
Oh, got you, bang to rights. And I actually went in and I said to them, excuse me, can you confirm that this is true? They said, oh no, he was joking. Well, if he's joking, why is he factually correct?
All right. I was looking at you.
I will never get tired of listening to that piece there. So now we know that BTC Core Coin has got a fundamental value of absolute zero. And as we know, when it has a fundamental of absolute zero, it means that the price is therefore purely speculative. And it just simply means that when knowledge catches up with speculation, the speculative price will then soon very quickly match its fundamental value at zero. That's how it's going to work. So when that happened, the chain split, BTC socially engineered control of the ticker symbol, Bitcoin just simply had to continue. And then Roger Ver and his crony mates, they thought they would attack the signatures and do their own thing by adding schnorr signatures and basically making it illegal so that global trade and international commerce could never use it, making it a closed market, which is basically resigning it to the waste paper bin forever. And if you don't believe me that Roger Ver and his mates have actually messed up Bitcoin so that it's not regulatory compliant, have a listen to what Roger Ver said in his interview when the guy asked him my question. Here we go.
I have a question here from Satoshi, defender of Bitcoin. He said, if a cryptocurrency is anonymous, like BCH, I don't think BCH is anonymous, but maybe there is something.
Check out cashfusion.com and you combine that with reusable payment codes and you get Bitcoin Cash in the same sort of ballpark of privacy as Monero. It's really awesome. So you can check out Cash Fusion. And I always get it wrong. I think it's .com, but it might be .org. So you can check both. Cashfusion.com.
Okay, awesome. So BCH, maybe using Cash Fusion and XMR, if they're anonymous, how can a business get legal recourse against a supplier if the supplier defaults and no proof on the transaction exists because anon?
Yeah, if you want your cryptocurrency to be perfectly legal for everything all the time, just go use your Visa card. Just go use your PayPal, right? What do you need a cryptocurrency for? You can do all of it with a centralized, fully legal and fully compliant payment platform.
What do you mean, what do we need a cryptocurrency for, Roger? We need a currency that isn't fiat currency. That's the whole point. A currency that doesn't have a central point of authority or control. A currency that just simply cannot be manipulated. A currency that people just simply can't print and inflate overnight. It is inflation that destroys civilizations and empires. And as we heard previously, a pattern that follows the fall of empires is that just before the empire crumbles, its currency starts to be debased. And in our system, debasing is effectively inflating, printing more and more and more of it. And as we know, more fiat currency, like dollars and pounds sterling, more fiat currency has been printed in the last 6 months than it has in the last 600 or 200 years. In fact, I think we might try and maybe try and find that. Here we go. Rates of inflation. Rates of inflation, US dollar. I mean, let's have a look. We'll see if we can do this in images. Whoa. Rates of inflation, US dollar. I mean, that is... Let's see if this is correct. Good grief. I mean, we'll have a look at that one on Reddit. Oh, that's hyperinflation with the Zimbabwean dollar. But again, I would say that this is mirroring what is happening right now to the US dollar. Like this is honestly what's happening. So the Zimbabwean hyperinflation rate. I mean, look at that. You know, and again, this is basically inevitably it's going to happen to all currencies. And we're seeing it happening to the US dollar right now. Let's see what this one was. Rate of the inflation of the US dollar. Let's see what this comes up with. So this worth of dollars in 1774. I mean, yeah. I mean, look at that. That is just absolutely insane. So that's what's happening. That is literally what is happening right now. I just continue with this video with Roger. You know, just being an absolute tool.
Right. So go use PayPal. I think you've missed the entire point. The entire point of cryptocurrencies is that by technological design, they are beyond the reach of the law.
That is outrageous. That is wrong. That is reckless. That is absolutely ridiculous. That is stupid. That is dangerous. To believe any of that shit that he just mentioned.
They're above the law. That's why, imagine if Bitcoin could have been shut down by governments, they probably would have shut it down from right out of the gate.
They can shut it down. The reason they didn't is because it complies with regulation. That's it.
And it's the fact that Bitcoin can't be shut down.
Someone's going to learn the hard way.
We should ask the BSVers this. If they pass a law saying BSV needs to shut down their blockchain, are they going to obey and shut down their BSV blockchain? I hope the answer would be no. Which is just, a lot of the stuff I see from some of these BSVers are silly. But then there's other BSV fans that, I'm very, very sympathetic to their way of thinking. But the ones that say that the blockchains all need to be legally compliant about everything all the time, just go use your Visa card.
Thanks, Roger. I will, because I wouldn't be touching BCH with a barge pole.
And we're going to really spread Bitcoin crash across the entire country here in Antigua.
There we go. You heard it here first. That's Roger spreading Bitcoin crash against throughout the entire country here in Antigua. Like, oh my goodness me. So anyway, so that basically means that BCH has now got a fundamental value of absolute zero. So now what we need to do is listen to the Bitcoin creator himself and listen to what he says about money, control, and power. Have a listen to this. Here we go.
This is what it all comes down to. See, what people don't understand is Bitcoin with a stable protocol takes away power. If no one can change the protocol, not me, not God, there's no power in money. Money is all about power. And this is one of the things Bitcoin has done. It has removed that power. It will remove that power globally.
There we go. It's going to remove that power globally. No causing shit anymore, because that people are going to be wanting to look after their money. And there isn't going to be hyperinflation in the price of goods and services, because people are going to be competing to actually get the medium of exchange out from people's pockets. Like, spend it, spend it. Like, why should I spend it? This is going up in value. I better really want what you're selling me. If you want me to buy that off you, you're going to have to put in extra legwork just for me. If you want me to part with my medium of exchange, because I'm not only just simply parting with the medium of exchange at that time, I'm also giving away its future value and all of it that comes with it. So it's a huge amount of money that's effectively being spent. But let's have a listen to CSW and understand his drive and motivation for creating Bitcoin. See what he wants from it.
At the end of the day, we own a lot of Bitcoin. The simple thing is, if we make the network scale, if we make it bigger, my main compensation, more than anything anyone could ever pay me, is the price of Bitcoin goes up. So that's my pure drive. I want Bitcoin not to go up to 10,000 or 100,000. I want it to be worth millions per Bitcoin. That's it. And that's what we spend money for. Very simple.
There we go. That's what they spend money for. Very simple. He wants Bitcoin to be worth millions. As do I. Let's have another listen to that, shall we? Sounds good. Rings in the ears nicely.
Anything anyone could ever pay me is the price of Bitcoin goes up. So that's my pure drive. I want Bitcoin not to go up to 10,000 or 100,000. I want it to be worth millions per Bitcoin.
There we go. As do I. As do I. Need I say more? You make it so that the entire world can use it, and that's when you get the largest amount of value coming in. That is by far the most valuable form of money, when the entire world can use it, which is global trade and international commerce. Yes, indeed. Right, I can see a few going to do shout out for a few people in the chat box in a moment, but just before we get into that, just going to have a quick look at this the coin crap market that I do for everybody when this comes up. So before we just mention anything in this, let's just remind ourselves, what is it that shitcoiners say?
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, hey, hey.
There we go. Just stay away from shitcoiners that sound anything like that. Oh my goodness me. So you will see all these shitcoins on the market are all securities, which is why I've got shitcoin next to them. The only one that isn't a shitcoin, because it's not a security, is Litecoin. And Charlie Lee created it, which discredits it, which makes it, the result is a piece of shit, but it's still not a security. It is a commodity. But this is why Charlie Lee exit scammed the shit out of it. And if you don't believe me, I've got a video right here. Let's have a quick listen to to Charlie Lee describing about what he thought Litecoin was. Here we go. Coming up now.
You created Litecoin, right? So this has to be something like you're incredibly passionate about.
Yeah, as most of you probably know, I kind of created it just for fun, right? I didn't really expect it to become anything.
Thanks for that, Charlie. Well, could have done with that warning prior to, maybe jumping in and buying it, and everybody else, considering it's got a market cap of, hold on a minute, let's just check, shall we? It's got Litecoin, which he didn't expect to become anything, has now got a market cap of $9 billion. Well, if he didn't expect it to become anything, hadn't you better have told everybody before it got to a market cap of $9 billion? You know, maybe people could have sold their bags and just not bought it if you didn't expect it to become anything and you treated it like a joke. In fact, talking about treating something like a joke, I was watching an interesting video earlier on with Raoul Powell and what's his face, Mike Novogratz. Let's just have a quick look at this. There we go. Again, trailer's going to be on YouTube, and then we'll upload the full episode onto Streamanity. So hope you've enjoyed the show, and as ever, be aware, take care, stay safe out there, joy given, same time tomorrow. Catch you later. Get your tweet etched on Twitch, forever on the Bitcoin blockchain. Do it today at www.jointwitch.com. Buybsv.live, the best place to buy Bitcoin SV online. Get paid for your content in Bitcoin and watch the full episode on Streamanity for just 20 cents. Go to www.satoshi.tv. See the link in the description below. Bitcoin, one world, one chain.
Yeah, one vision.